Hey everybody, I'm Axel Beers with Maui Time. I'm here at the corner of Main and Market Street in Wailuku to walk story with Gabe Johnson, a candidate for the Maui County Council Lanai seat. How are you doing, Gabe?
Very good, Axel. Thanks for having me over.
All right, so why are you running for office this time around, Gabe?
Well, I'm running for many reasons, but the main reason is I'm running because in 2018 when I ran, I thought that my message rang true. It got people involved who weren't typically involved in politics, and I think it was I had really good numbers. I won the island of Lanai, and for a guy like me, that means a lot to me. So I figured my message rang true. I'm going to try to get more new voters. I'm going to go for my platform even harder and just keep pushing my message out. Yeah. The other thing is, I'm running for my daughter's sake. Our children's future here on these islands, be honest with you, it's really kind of hard. This is one of the first generations where they believe that they won't do better than their parents. And that's not what I want to have happen. I want our children to grow up in a clean environment with a healthy economy. Yeah. Those are really important issues.
So Gabe, the big topic of the day, of course, is COVID. We saw our biggest daily spike today. Yes. I mean, obviously we're in masks, we're adapting. How do you feel about the schedule for reopening that we're looking at on the county level, on the state level? Is that something you agree with?
Right.
What are your thoughts?
It's a very solid question. And I'll tell you, Axel, every time I get asked that, I say, do you remember March? Do you remember April when we first closed down and we were really strict on ourselves? And how amazing. I was shocked my daughter's school got canceled. I was shocked that this hotel closed. Yeah. But we did it and we kept our numbers down. And now with the second wave, why would we give up all that hard work that we did in March and April? So I'm saying we got to stay a little longer. I'm going to push against the state if they're going to force us to open. I'm going to push against my other fellow politicians. It's time to keep our families safe. Don't forget the lessons we learned in March and April.
All right, so as part of that funding, the county got $67 million for COVID programs relief. This is kind of a two-part question, but how do you feel those funds should be used?
Right. So time and time again on any kind of worst case scenario, our government immediately turns to the big business that says, we'll bail you out, we'll help you, because they're the job creators. We've heard that trickle down economics since Reagan days. I'm saying right now, what we want to do is put the COVID money into the pockets of the working folks. The COVID relief programs we are creating in the county level have to be focused on working class families, have to be focused on indigenous folks. Yeah. It's really important that we take the money and focus it on the taxpayers, the people who actually invested in the system to get the money in the first place.
Yeah. And so, the second part of that is that the way that this money was added to the county budget, it kind of circumvented the normal budget process to where people can be involved. It takes multiple meetings before that money gets spent, and it's all in the hands of the mayor right now.
Right.
If you were on the council, how would you try to hold the mayor accountable to that funding, and how would you make sure that your constituents' needs are represented when they can't have that kind of public participation?
Again, that's a really solid question, and I'm just going to say what I've been pushing forward in my platform is we got to operate on a moral framework. Local government has to look at the simple question of do what is right. All right, now if the mayor has control of those funds, I respect him as long as he's doing what is right for the people. If he's not spending it correctly, I'm going to raise my hand in objection. I'm going to push against it. But right now, he's doing food drives for the people of Lanai. I got to give him respect for that. So you spend the money right, you do the right thing, you help out the working class folk, no grumbles here.
Yeah, and so I saw that you had a recent kind of career change maybe. I seen that you've been farming. I saw that you were donating some uala down at the park.
Yeah.
How do you feel about diversifying the economy? That's a big buzzword, is diversification, now that we've seen how dependent we are on tourism.
That's right.
What do you feel your role as a county council member, if you were to have that seat, what is your role in trying to diversify, if you feel that's the answer?
Yeah. Well, obviously the idea of putting the choice in the hands of the people that have a Department of Agriculture is really important. Put it on the ballot and let the people decide. Do you want to get back into farming? We have a long history. Yeah. The Hawaiians did the Aopo'a system and they were very successful with farming. So, and even as we get on, the whole island of Lanai basically is zoned agricultural land. We've got the giant Maui Pono area that's all zoned agricultural land. It's an easy sidestep into what we have now. And then if tourism does come back, the tourists will be spending top dollar in the restaurants that are all locally grown. But besides that fact, we're going to have locals that are eating healthy, right? That's really a win-win. especially when we're struggling with all of the income inequality, the health concerns. We don't have health care. So eating healthy is like basis. It comes back to you tenfold. So I like the idea of diversifying our economy into agriculture.
All right. So, I mean, then the question is, what do we do with tourism? How do you feel we should treat tourism? What is your role as a county council member if you were to have that seat in regulating tourism? We're here in Wailuku town, and they're talking about putting up, hotels, 6-story hotels, just from where we walked by.
Right.
And the idea is that's how you revitalize this area. Is that a kind of a sentiment that you agree with, that we need to revitalize our economy by constructing new hotels?
So a year ago, we had 30,000 visitors a day, and we were breaking records. And we talked about how low the unemployment was and how business was a booming. A year later, COVID hits, we're down to 100 visitors a day. Where did all that money go? Where did all that investment? It's just all of the tourism buck sucked it out right out of our state and went to international companies, major hotel chains, and big businesses. We didn't get hardly anything back from that. So I think that there's a certain amount of we do need tourism, but we got to hold them accountable. Maybe more locally owned tourist based jobs. I really like the idea of entrepreneurial, people who want that own my own business and work with tourists. And hey, have at it, Hoss. But in the meantime, there's still plenty of room, plenty of lanes for people who don't want to deal with the tourism trade. They can get into helping out the local residents. There's plenty of job opportunities that help local residents. Look at these shops. Most of these shops on the street, they're catering to local residents, right?
Yeah. So just kind of a last question. 2 years ago, you ran a very tight race against Ricky Hokama, established statesman. He's terming out this year.
Yep.
What could your constituents expect differently in your decision-making process? How you interact with them? What could your constituents expect that would be different if they were to vote for Gabe Johnson?
You don't even have enough time for all that differences, but we'll just start simply with what I promised to the folks of Lanai. I promised to go have public meetings with them. No more of these backroom deals. Come to my office and we'll talk, or come to my place and we'll talk. It's more like, hey, let's have a community meeting. We'll hash it out. We'll have differing opinions and we'll talk about it. And then people are aware of what's going on in the community. So we'll just start with that. Let's have some transparency with your local government.
Yeah. Hey, well, all right, Gabe. Thank you so much for coming and walking story with us today. And please remember to turn in your primary ballot by August 8th. Be sure to turn that in.
Yep. And once again, everybody in the county can vote for every county seat. I'm Gabe Johnson. I live on Lanai. People in Kahului, Wailuku can vote on that county seat. You can check out my website at www.gabe4council.com. Aloha.